on the road is about 8, 8:30 and 9. So people are taking it easy, and they know that they are coming, closing 1 year, wonderful year, 2023. Those of you um, going through hard times, maybe you lost a loved one, or maybe you are going through a terrible incident in your family, maybe somebody pass on to the other life. We take this time to greet you. It's not the end of the road, and it's a time to pick up and continue to move on. There's always a brighter light at the end of the tunnel. It's just going through every day of our life and wishing for the best, because we know that we can handle it. Whatever comes, mountain that we have to go through, and the valleys and challenges, we believe that it can be done. Bula Vinaka to those of you that arrive into our nation, maybe to come and spend your holidays with your loved one. You've been overseas in Australia, New Zealand, America, or other parts of Europe, Asian continent. You are here for holiday, welcome home. Some of you, maybe you are already gone to your village and you are watching from your village. Those in Lau, in Kadabu, Lomaiviti, and Banualevu, we take this time. Welcome back home. We have a friend that come all the way from UK after 13 years. He's here with the family, and he was sharing that Fiji really developed. And we thank the God Almighty for a wonderful nation called Fiji. And we believe, as you listen to the family table talk this morning, that you'll be encouraged in whatever that we are sharing.
Yeah, welcome to Fiji, Seruvatu family, Auntie Milia, and your Ezekiel and Joshua. Thank you. It's been a while then coming back to Fiji, and I believe your family also have been blessed in you coming home to celebrate after all those years of being away. And that goes for any other family that have been away from our beautiful nation, Fiji. I will always say there's no place like home. Regardless of how developed, how good, how advanced it is all over the world. There's always that feeling when you come home, even to your home, your house when you enter. There's no place like home. And I believe, like for those of you who have made your home outside Fiji, that becomes your new home. And you look forward to those homes. And it's such a good feeling. And it's good that you create that home atmosphere. And also, if you are in Fiji, you try and create that in Fiji, as in when you're away from home, within Fiji, you know you're missing out from home. And also, if you have created outside Fiji, when you're visiting here in Fiji, and then you're living in any other country, that becomes your home. So you're away from home. And now it's December, just a few weeks leading up to the Christmas and New Year. It's not as what it used to be. Before you hear the sound, you see it. It's a little bit slow going for 2023, I believe, or maybe I'm just in the wrong places, not seeing really what's happening out there. And it's those time of the year that really a lot of things happen. Mostly I've noticed like a lot of people die, in whatever. There's always death happening in December. And not only that, there's a lot of attacks. A lot of robbery and things around us. Maybe different to your country, maybe different to your surrounding, maybe different to those of you that are in the villages. But this, recurring issues usually come together with the month of December, when people are really desperate and they go out of their way to do what they want to do, reading the papers. This particular lady in Lautoka, just a few meters, outside from her business, and robbed and nearly killed. Now she's in the ICU. Little things that happen that you cannot just take that for granted. And that is another note out to all of us, regardless where you are, in any country in the world. Maybe it's not as bad for you out there, but for Fiji it is. Nearly every time you pick up the papers, every day you pick up the papers, there's always a coverage. Either somebody get attacked or somebody get killed or taxi driver killed. There's a lot of things that you get to read that never used to happen in Fiji. Now it becomes normal. It's like just one part of the news. Before it used to be so horrific that you look at it and you keep on talking about it because something that never used to happen. But now it's common. So people make reference to it and said, okay, he passed, or that happened, or got robbed. It's normal. So on the outset, we would like to, just remind us as we are busy, the hustle and the busyness of this month, keep a lookout and check your bag. Last night, we were home. My grandson actually went out. He was doing some work, and then he called home. He couldn't reach me on my phone. Picked up my phone later. Sometimes when I reach him, I just don't want to pick up my phone. But sometimes it can be the wrong moments. So last night was one of those. I saw a missed call, about 6 to 10 missed calls on my phone. And he managed to get through to my daughter, who came in late home after work. And as we were conversing, I heard her phone ring, and she turned to me and she said, Joshua has been trying to get in touch with you. And I said, oh, okay, I just come home. I didn't want to pick my phone. I said, what is it? So he was on the phone, and he said, oh, I want to pop in, to pick a food drive-through at McDonald's. So when she was still on the phone, a few things that I reminded her to say to him, when you get off the car, if you have to get off the car, check. Before you get off the car, look around you, look around the surrounding. And as you get off the car, when you're walking, be alert of your surrounding. Check the people that are behind you, people that are around you. Just be careful. I would think that it's better to be too careful than having things that happen and then you regret it for the rest of your life, that you didn't warn, or you didn't help, or you were not alert. And so she was saying the same thing over the phone to him. And I was looking at the time, it's nearly midnight, and I said, okay, just tell him to be careful. Whatever that he does, he just needs to be careful. And I sat up at home last night until he came in. There was a little bit after midnight, going on to 1 o'clock, when he walked into the house. And, at that moment, that feeling, because I am a grandmother and you are a mother as well, when somebody's not at home, and at that time, during this time, during the festive time, when things are not the same throughout the year, that consciousness and that alertness is very good for us to have. Like what I said, you can be, sometimes you can be irritably too annoying, like you kept on, then they'll always turn to you and say, oh, don't worry, you're overreacting. It's better to overreact than have anything to happen. And after she spoke on the phone, my daughter spoke on the phone, then we sat and we were talking about it. And then she said, before we used to be driving them around, before we used to call them out, like it's up to us where we take them. But now it's like we are home, and they are there driving around and telling us where they are. But for you young people that are out there during this time, or whatever age that you may be, sometimes we can't stop you. Parents can't stop you because you hang out with your friends. But as and when you do, keep your parents informed of where you are. That, just that consideration to make it known to them where you are at or who you are with, either in their home or somewhere else. It's best for you to let them know because it's a good closure for them, other than them looking out, being worried that they don't know where you are. You will never know the things that you how your parents feel, not until you have to go through it yourself. So just another reminder for all of us out there. I was in another place last night as well. So when it finished, I was looking out. All the shops are closed. And the stillness of the night, the darkness. And there's a lot of, rowdy people around. There's a lot of just aimless people, like just standing around and walking from place to place. And because it's a school holidays, it's quite a fair bit number of young people out there. Because they're idle, like at home, there's nothing to do. So to them, they get excited. Sometimes curiosity takes them out of their home, wanting to know what's happening in there, what's happening in there. And out of that curiosity, for a totally different reason, why they're there. And sometimes it can lead them to be in the wrong crowd, in the wrong place, at the wrong time. And just coming out last night and having this, like everything, because I'm not used to going out at night. I'm not used to be in places that I'm not supposed to be. And I have that kind of, I think it's a bad feeling because you're not familiar with the place and you're in a place that everything else is closed. That feeling of fear, I would say. But when you believe in God and then you have that confidence knowing that He's with you. But when you're out there and you see all these things happening around you, the shops are closed and the darkness is there. And for those of you that go through those kind of experiences, it can be, too overwhelming. So whatever it is, let your family member know where you are at. Let them know, or call somebody, or text somebody. Because it's best to be, overprotective and overthinking, other than, something happening. And, what happened last night, because I was really disappointed with him. He came in late to pick me up on that time. And that feeling is not a good feeling. And for those of you out there, just be careful. Be alert, like what I said. And even in the house, lock up, check out. Like what I said, okay, it's not that a lot of big things that are happening, but it's best to be more prepared other than regretting that things that had happened that you cannot fix or you cannot turn around, or the trauma that it can create for your family, nothing, regardless of counseling. Like what I said, we are reacting to things that are happening. We are not being proactive. So for this time around, if you haven't been through any experience like that, just be careful and be proactive moving forward for the month of December, with a lot of things that are happening, the colors, the lights, and everything else.
Yeah, there are a few tips from the police, locking our cars. The other one for, there's a lot of stepping taxis. It's been highlighted in the printed media. Pickpocketing, these are some of the family tips. There's a lot of people, when people are around, crowded, there are a lot of people that are out there on the street. They are looking for opportunities, especially for older ladies. You are vulnerable to the target of pickpocketing or grab and run. Those of you that are using your phone on the bus and come to the red light, just be mindful. There are people that they take those kind of opportunity to grab your phone, because you can't do anything, you are in the vehicle. And those of you that are driving alone, you come to the red car. This is another tips from the police.
Red car or red light?
The red light. And people can look into your car or in the back seat, and if your car is not locked, all those, as Randini is saying, it's better to be overreacting or overprotecting rather than something happen. For young people, especially for young girls, don't walk alone at night because of the vulnerable. There are a lot of people, they are out there, they maybe look innocent or nothing can happen, but you never know. We came into Cumming Street with one of our grandson, and we came and parked, and we saw a lot of young people that like they're going in group of 4 and 5 young people that you are out there. When you are in with the wrong crowd, just be careful of the timing. Anything, you can be very, very innocent, but because of the wrong place and the wrong time, you can be in a situation where people can blame you for something like a grab and run or something, put something in your pocket, in your bag, and you are into in problem areas and problem time, because there are people out there, they're looking for opportunities. Just like we were warned in the terminal, don't leave your bag alone, because people can use your bag to transport or to take things that they are illegal to take across, like drugs or marijuana. So these are some of the tips that normally happen during festive season, because we are busy in preparing the things that we have to do, like a family gathering, and we rush into the supermarket, and we rush into town, and there are so many people, especially if you go by bus. You can be very vulnerable, and by the time you arrive at your shop and you look for your wallet, your purse, and it's no longer there. These are some of the things that bring sadness or painful experience, because we are not careful. Remember, everybody are different. You never know. Smiling faces and people that you know can be very deceiving. And according to the police, they call it a seasonal crime. It happens during this time, hibiscus time, Christmas time. It only increased during that time. So on a family table talk in the morning like this, we just want to encourage you, young people, when you go out at night, remember to continue to liaise with your parents or with your loved one, because you never know. No accident. There are some rowdy drivers that you'll never think that it can happen, but one just few morning ago, I went to pray in the Wailing Seawall, and there was a car in the primary school of MGM, went through the golf course road and just missed the billboard and right into the ground of MGM. When I came, there were a lot of people there just looking at the car. You know, you never know.
That spot seems to be, I mean, it's quite a few accidents out there. I remember last year the same thing happened to, like they just bust into the fence into the school compound. And because it's a straight road. That's a Jerusalem road, eh?
Jerusalem road. And when come from there, and because of that corner.
Yeah, the corner, like the bend.
Yeah. And this car was near the house on the other side too. So, and there were a lot of people. Anybody can be just walking at that time on that day. It's a walking time, like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. You know? And just be careful from the family table talk. It's a time that to take extra care. Even when you go shopping, sometimes we are busy shopping and we can leave our wallet or our purse, you know, in a place that is vulnerable for somebody to take advantage of that. Yeah. And by the time you turn around, and you'll be sorry. So we just want to encourage the viewers this morning. These are some of the tips that you can listen from the program of My TV and also TV1 and also FBC from the Crime Stoppers from our police department, just trying to warn us. So you also come from family table talk and
tips,
whatever you do.
To help you, like what we are trying to share this morning. It's better to prepare and to be alert other than being sorry that it happened, because some can be very fatal. People are desperate and they're ready to kill for just a small thing. And to them, it's just them taking things, but to you is your life. And it's best that you save your life, because all these material things can be replaced. All these things that can that are damaged, you can easily get them back. But the life is only once. Once it's taken, there's nothing that anyone can do to bring that life back. And that's how you value your life, value your family, because your life journey is only once. Well, those are the tips that we would like just to say to everybody out there. We can tell natik manavi korokoro, nanon the bula bakamata pubaling, ngona ni songo, ngona ni bilakaki, nabi kakid, narongo, narairai. Out here in Suva, we have a little, I don't know, they call it a light city or a little creative, little city out there at the foreshores. For those of you in Suva, I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it from my grandchildren. And if you are in the Suva area, in the Central Division, or in the Eastern Division, you can pop in at the foreshores here, next to the Civic Center in Suva. They say the lights just come alive in the night. A beautiful place that you can just bring your children, you know, just to watch and be part of that light. Little things that you can go together as a family outing. We had our Christmas, we call it the Friendsgiving Fiesta for our My TV family or our company and their families. So every year we try as much to do it, but we have a lot of things that happen over the years that sometimes we didn't do it, or most of the times we didn't. And after a very long time, then we have one again. And it's just a good feel to have your family around. So what we usually try to emphasize when it comes to that day, the Thanksgiving Day, it's a moment that all the staff should and must take to look to their families and say thank you. And also an opportunity for the company to thank the families of the staff. Because without their support, the staff wouldn't perform the way they are. Without their support, you know, the work that their family members produce in the company wouldn't be as much as we are receiving right now. And not only that, for the nature of work for the company that we belong to, it takes them out, and sometimes it takes them away from their home. If they have to do production, outside production, and they leave their home and they go to other places in Fiji, or they travel to the islands to be able to have that done. And you have them being away from home for 2 to 3 days, and sometimes if there is a big event to cover, so it's like a late finish at about 11 o'clock, and an early start. So those are the little things, you know, like work it may be, they get paid to do it because it's part of their work, but they actually, you know, become the missing mom or the missing dad or the missing youth from home because of the nature of the work that they do. So when it comes to the end of the year, that's one thing that we always try to emphasize from the company management to make it about their family. It's not about us. We work together. We see each other. We sit together, have coffee together. The whole year, you spend more time in your office space than in your home because the whole day you are out there and at work. And the only portion of time that you give home is your evenings and your weekend if you are staying home. Other than that, that weekends and the evening is shared again with your friends, shared again with the church that you belong to, shared again with the community that you belong to. So the little portion of your time that is left, your family is not privy to the fullness of your availability or your attention. So end of the year program, we always push. It's not about you. Make sure you bring your family. Not only, it's a moment to say thank you to the families, but also it's a moment for families to get to know each other, that they belong to this big family. And second, I always, because for all the companies that I worked in, I always try to have that. Like if I work with opposite sex in that particular department, I will always try to go out of my way to meet their wives, to meet their spouse, or when they call, I will try as much to be the receiving end. You know, that assurance that they are part of your family, that, you know, it's a safe place to work. It's a good relationship in the office space. And as and when we have events, I will try to go out of my way to meet them, to introduce myself to them. Indirectly, I want to tell them, you know, as and when you need anything from the office, and if you can't get through to your husbands, you can call me. And it's such a good feeling because you know the surrounding, it's like, you know, for the office that he works in, to know the people that he works with, because, you know, they are actually spending more time with your husband or more time with your wife than you do. So it's always good to get to know them, and also for those of you that work and you are on the other side. And then you have some of your spouses that stay home. They don't go to work at all. And the only window they have of your workplace, it's you. And try as much to get them introduced. And that is one of the reasons for our family get-together at the end of the year. One, for all the families to get to know each other. Second, for them to know who their family member are working with. Like if it's your husband or if it's your wife, these are the people that work with your, you know, with your loved ones. And they become yours. So that confidence, that assurance that you know them and you are good. I don't know how to explain it, but that's a feeling, you know, out there. We don't usually talk about these things, and but I would like to talk about it because that's my life. For all the companies that I've worked for, I always try to go out of my way to know the spouses of people that I work with, especially for the opposite sex, just to give them that assurance. And sometimes, you know, they keep on calling, and if you pick one phone and you pick another, and you hear, I worked in a place at one time, and then you hear the frustration on the other side. I said, please, can I speak with, you know, making a mention of the husband's name? And I said, oh, okay, you know, he was just here a few minutes ago. I'll take your number down, and I'll get him to call you. And then the phone ring again. It can be an hour later, the phone ring again. And then you pick up the phone again. And the same voice, you know, comes back online and say, I've been really trying to get through to my husband. I can't get through. And I said, okay, you know, I'll make sure that he calls you. My name is Rachel Lee, but I will really make sure that he gets a message. Not only he gets the message, but I'll make sure that he calls you. And I know for a man that worked with me out there in the airline, in the division, the department that we work with, I know you always find me irritable. And so but I always write these little notes and put it on their desk. And then when the wives call again, then I'll come to their office and I will say, I've left messages on your desk. Have you called? And say, oh, very busy. I'm in a meeting. I'm very busy. And sometimes, because I know the number, I'll call the wives. I'll call the wives because when you're in a department, for some company, you can transfer, you can pick the call, you can transfer the calls. So I'll call the wife, and then I'll get on the line and say, okay, you hold on. And then I'll just call her to pick the line, pick your phone. And it's ringing and said, just pick your phone. And then when they pick the phone, yeah, hello, Your wife. So put the phone down. And they always find it irritable for the men that I work with. So I do those things because, I always imagine if it was me on the receiving end and I'm trying to call him and then another woman is picking the phone from the other side. Yeah, your husband is out. Can I take your number? Oh boy, that's irritable. And knowing that feeling, I would like to assure the wives or the spouses of people that I work with, don't worry, you are good. I'll make sure that they call you back. And those are the little etiquette, family etiquette, I would call them, the little things that create a relationship, that stabilize your relationship, that people don't usually want to talk about. And then you have some companies or some women, it's like, okay, when your husband comes to work or when your wife comes to work, it doesn't only happen with the women, it happens with some men as well. So it's like, you only own them when they're in your house, but when they are in the office, you don't own them anymore. And I know the feeling. I mean, I've worked my life. I started working when I was only 16 years old. So I have experiences from working in the hotel, like the tourism industry. Well, that's another story. Tourism industry life is, like you live a lot of different lives. You have your family, you have your family of hanging out, you have your family of clubbing. There's a lot of that out there. And it takes me back to what I'm sharing today, that some women or some men, they always give up that kind of picture or attitude when they come to the office. Hands off, they belong to me, or they belong to this work atmosphere. That's the attitude. So when they pick up the phone and then you're calling, okay, he's very busy, don't call, stop calling. They will call you when they're free, and then that's it. The phone is being slammed. They try as much not to get the message through. And sometimes when husband and wife manage to, call or manage to get in touch, and then they're being bombarded with, questions. Why you never return my call? Oh, I never get the message. Because there are people within their office, they don't pass on the message. And that happens to me, like with him. Our office is not far apart. It's on the same floor where we worked together. And sometimes he keep on calling, sometimes he leave messages. And then in the whole day, he said, okay, he hasn't called. And then you get angry and say, why are you not calling? I've been leaving messages. Sometimes I just take a walk from there, pop into the office, been calling you. And I said, no, I didn't get the message. So those are little things that happen that can create fights, create differences or arguments within couple. But you have all these people that are hanging around you that want that to happen, to shake your marriage or to shake and provoke your relationship. So those are the things for us to be careful about, and just to be alert for those who work and those who do not work, or those who work in different companies, just that relationship. Because those are the little things that contribute to that a good, close relationship that is expected of couples. And not only that, we have, apart from all those relationships, apart from the answers and the attitude that we display out there, now it's December. As and when throughout the year, sometimes you allow, you don't draw the line. You don't draw a line between opposite sex. And that's one thing that I've always emphasized in the church where we belong. And that we always have these Mondays. It's like a training time for all our leaders as we speak, like in terms of senior pastors or pastors and their spouses and church elders. And every Mondays for New Methodists, we have this training for leaders. And I'm always looking after the administration, and I will never go past a moment to emphasize and remind our people of family, family values, to value your spouses, value your children, quality time, undivided attention towards your family. It's not only about the church. It's not only about your work. You have your family right there in front of you that you are accountable for. And that is one thing that I want to bring to this table this morning. Because when you don't draw the line, a lot of jokes every now and then in your workplace, that you don't, draw the line to respect the opposite sex, and you've opened yourself to that kind of conversation that it shouldn't be happening. Dirty jokes, casual jokes, touching of each other. These things, it happens. It happens. And when you're not careful, maybe you're just being playful, or maybe it's just one of these things instead, oh, everybody does it. Don't worry, it doesn't mean anything. Well, it may not, doesn't mean anything, But when you come to the end of the year and something else happened, and most companies, they do their end of the year function without their family members. They don't even involve their family members. And it's just them. So when you come to the end of the year function and you're a bit cross-eyed because of this, liquor, drinks, and substance, whatever that you take them, and being in the wrong place, being at the wrong time, but this, spur of the moment kind of thing, the jokes that you have done throughout the year, being at the wrong place at the wrong time, it can create something that you never anticipated that can happen. So it can be a one-night stand for you, or it can be like out of curiosity, okay, you begin to receive this kind of interest from that opposite sex in your office, maybe a male towards a female, or a female towards a male, and it's there. The kind of looks, the kind of conversation, I've been married for 39 years, and all these little stupid signs. And all those signs that you can gauge, but come towards the end of the year, when your guards are down, when you say, okay, year end, closure, office closure, festive time, sit down and you relax with your beer, relax with your drinks, relax with what kind of, liquor that you take, and then that moment strikes. When you're not really alert, then those things happen. And so it can be you, out of curiosity, you just want to see through, and since she's asking for it, you give it, or since he's asking for it, then you do it. And when that happens, that moment, that to you is just out of fun, or to you is just out of curiosity, that can damage your family, throughout your lifetime. It becomes a thorn between your relationship, and it can destroy the very family that you've worked so hard for. So for those of you women and men out there that you are working, and you can relate to the story that I'm trying to share with us this morning, because I know it's a lot of happiness out there, because I am on the receiving end of prayer requests. And most of those prayer requests come from women who work in different companies from their husbands, and more so that are at home, they do not work at all. And and sometimes you don't know what to say. You cannot, what else to say? Because it's a relationship.
Yeah, those men that we shared together, when they were sitting there during the end of the year.
Yeah, what you call the dinner. Yeah.
And it's, the appreciation, and they said, this is really nice. This is really good. Sitting there, the value of family, seeing the children playing, and all these children, they are part and parcel of a company that they don't know. All they know that their dad or their mom go to work. And as we sat there, I was speaking and sharing with people that we hardly talk, and they open up and sharing, the appreciation of that something is different and something like it's with values.
Yeah.
And I was surprised in the way, that they never like this before. One of them, he came and said, I've been working for years. When I come in, I was okay. When I go out, sometimes I go out the next day, 2 days later, 3 days later. And because you were sharing about the end of the year party.
Yeah.
And the importance of involving your family to this get together. Yeah. So it becomes unique. So not only the employees are part of the company, the whole family are part of the company.
Yeah, and you like it or not, they are part of the company.
Yeah. And because of their support from home, the employee that goes will do the best of his ability and the quality time that he'll spend with the company, because the support from home. And I remember, as I shared that night, that this is what you do, especially with the airline, of getting the family together, sports day, playing together, and then
I must thank. It was Fiji, Air Pacific, before Fiji Airways. They used to have this family. It's called a family week, and it happens every year. I don't know whether it's still happening, but I believe maybe most companies do it. But for this particular company or the airline that I worked in for 20 plus years of my life, I always look forward to that week. It's called the Pacific Week, they always call it, the Pacific Week. And this particular week involved the whole family and staff. And they even allocate a day for the children, the sports for the children. It's like a company treat to the family. And yeah, and looking after hundreds of children. And I always look forward to look after the children. So it's always busy, and then you have your sports day for all these hundreds of staff and families.
And their friends.
Yeah, and in the evening, they usually have the awards as we, round up the week on Saturday. And I know for those of you that worked in the airline then can, relate to what I'm sharing today. And that goes for, I don't know whether it's still happening today. They may or they might be still happening. But it was, I could see a moment of getting to know them. And even though for hundreds of staff and their dependents, for me, it was an opportunity to, I know the names, I know the, like this staff has got this number of children, the opportunity to meet up their family and their spouses. It's quite a tedious task because it's a lot of work looking after these people. And I must thank the management of Air Pacific then, of Fiji Airways now, for just having that thought to look after the families. And it's a spend from the company. They allocate budget, and we have our meetings as co-committee, and they allocate budgets that you have to justify the spend. And I always enjoy that portion when you're looking after 500, 600 children, and then you take a trip to either LA or where the airline flies to, and go to the 99ers. And the 99ers in America, you can get good stuff. It's not like the dollar shop maybe here in Fiji. Even Fiji, the dollar shop has improved. So the 99ers. And we get all these little gifts and wrap it up and give it out to our children. It was like a week in the year that the company turned to the family and say thank you for your support. So I try as much. I was really grateful for that. And that sort of, not only I do it for the company, we do it for the church. And I remember my whole neighborhood. And we do that in Malawai Nandi, for those of you that used to be with us in Malawai Nandi at that time in those years. And now, it's an opportunity, like just sitting, like what you said, like for most, they may be making a mention to say this is the first time that they have. But for us, it's like normal. That's normal. At the end of the year, there's no other thing that is more important than your family, and to say thank you to your family. And I remember yesterday, because I gave them the options that, okay, if you know your work is done and you don't need to come back to the office, you can, don't come tomorrow. Take a break from tomorrow. But quite a fair bit, nearly all of them come back to the office tomorrow. And there's this particular one. He came and then he said to me and my daughter, I just want to come and thank you people for last night. You know what? He's in his 40s, I believe. And then he says, this is the first time ever with my life on this planet Earth. I like the way that he describes it. The first time ever in my whole lifetime on this planet Earth, for me to attend something like that, to be sober, I'm not
Sober
drunk,
in, sober out.
and sober in, and I walk in, I ate as much, I fill up, I top up again, and I took packs again to my family, and I received my gift, my token. It's like I came in empty and I walked back home full, and my mind is still with me. I know exactly where my house is. So we were having quite a good laugh about it yesterday, and I said, man, that's such a great feedback. Just to know that one simple evening, like you said, one simple night, it can make an impact in somebody else's life. And so because I didn't see his family, because they had other commitment, and said, next time try and bring your family. Bring your family to meet up with the big family, just for them to know each other. And it's such a great time of sharing. Festive season is always a season of sharing. And then you have another person, another one. They came in, like we just couldn't stop laughing. We started off like we were all teary, or nearly crying. And then we both started laughing in the process. So he came in, and he wanted to see me, he said, and looking at him, and I said, it's unusual, because he's, this one here, he's like our cartoonist, like wherever he goes, whatever he says, we can be in a serious meeting, like He'll just have to drop something and everybody laugh. Well, yesterday morning when he came, he looked a little bit, like emotional, sad. So I thought, oh, maybe something happened. So, yeah, he came. So the first thing that I asked him, I said, did you reach home? Because he came without his family. And did you reach home last night with everything for your children? Did you reach home? He said, I reached home. I said, okay, take a seat. So he sat, and I said, what happened? And he said, no, I just want to come and share with you that when I went home last night, he's got 4 children. When I went home last night and I took the gifts, because the company bought gifts for about 47 children. And I took the gifts home. And then he said, and I looked at my children, they opened up their gifts. And then he began to, being teary and crying. He said, CEO, I will not be able to, to put a word that is fitting. Sanga kako sanga nindo na wasa au na roni ba madala taka na ngona ya na moment ya na ngono ready rto kina na luvengo na non tondo lava na non rto gift ava sarve na neto na keke na ngona ya na moment ya la ko sanga na wani matango na nongo ready rto na nongo matubal ang ge kabe ko mo tambaki rto ge kako na lim madanganyo nongo lulubo ang ule damo mo tambaki rto. And then, when he was sharing that, and after he shared that, I turned to me and I said, "Bakanda viembaki, ni singin sodo, kimi ndo lako ibe. Kako sana kita lako ni kor na bakin ko dadan me kita lako na kor kita sasni lako na kor. Kaya mabala ikondo sona kai ko babulia bierto na lubem. Kako ya usanga ni ndo bulia ndo na kani sing sodo. Kita tanga sing do celebrate kana sing sodo. Au sing do bulia na lolo mabierto na lubengo. Akambeleta oiko sa onga oso na nguno ya ngona na bunoke di ko lako tiko kina na ilabo mo buli kina ndo na kabierto na lubia mo iko ba takatunga bi ko kai kako ndo na kasar nga un bakame iyo me taraya na mbongi ni rebierto na lubengo na nonrto marau kako na marau ya e bakae kila iyo tundo no na bakasama na no nala komenda no me kanga vinaka. He came in yesterday just to say thank you. The joy that he sees in his children as they open their gifts because they didn't come to the Thanksgiving dinner. And it doesn't cost much. Little things. Yongeri na kai at the kabavira na luvenda. Nangona and vakanga takavira. So it was, I felt good. Now that you mentioned, other men mentioned the same. And I believe for most Thanksgiving, for most parties, when you come in, for most companies, they do it only for their staff. It's like a good run-up cocktail or whatever you may term it. Or thank you to the stakeholders. They come and they mix with the staff. Like to say thank you to the money that you have given us. Thank you for your business. And this other stuff that I've been dealing with you. Some people do that. Some companies do that.
Because some of these men, because of their respect that I'm a taltala, no, we don't strike the conversation. Or they don't even come closer. But that night, like they were stuck and sharing, I just have to stand up. And on the talitaka, they are happy because something that is meaningful. And most, especially this particular one, he's not working for the company. The wife works. And he was pouring out, he enjoyed the night, he enjoyed the mingling, and I see the children, like not only the staff, not only the spouse, even the children, they start to know one another. So imagine those hidden, the hidden bond. It makes a company very unique.
Strong.
Just because everybody knows that
it's a good support system,
for the same company. And it even go further, the sharing, and I never thought that, even the way they look at the ministry, it really changes. Just because of that party, the opportunity of coming together, having dinner together.
I guess generally it's just instilling value, just putting value to the things we do. And I know when you have that value in everything you do, you'll carry that value with you. And when you have that kind of values within you, whatever you do will show the things that you value. And this is one thing that I've always shared. If you are always hanging out with your friends, you're always clubbing, you're always doing hanging out, that's exactly what you value. You value your friends, you value your personal lives, you value your individualism, whatever that you want for yourself. But when you value your family and you value the people around you, whatever that you plan, whatever that you do, or wherever you are, present, it shows what you value. So it's a good reminder to all of us that you need to remind yourself what are the values that you value within you. I value my family. My family, I've always said it. I said it in the church. I'll always say this. They are my life. So I am a Christian. I serve God. And apart from my God, there's nobody else there but my family. I don't have friends that I hang out with. Even though I've worked, I have a build of friends over the years. But for my friends, I know what I share, and I only allow them to such area of my life. But I'm not going to allow them to really step into my life. But I only allow certain phrases of my life for them to know. And I don't hang out with friends. Working right through, or even in school, it may be termed as boring, but those are the values that I value. I value my children, and I take them wherever I go, even in my early days, early family days. If I am going on duty travel to another country, I will lug them. I will take them. Even if I'm going on duty on a turnaround flight to go and check something, I will take one or two of them. I love my family. And now it's my grandchildren. As much as possible, if I can afford, I will lug and take the whole lot of them wherever I go, even though it's going to cost me more. Because I value my family, my life is surrounded by all these things. Then whatever that I do, or whatever that I create, or wherever we are, it's always family because of the value that you have within you. So you will need to search in and, and tell yourself, what do you value? Because when you value your family, you will be home for Christmas. When you value your family, you will have a good sit down to talk about how best that you can celebrate this festive season, where to go. You all are going in agreement. And we have one of our company, our company director, I think it was last week's, he came in and says, I will be taking my whole family. Every year he does that. 2 times in the year, he takes his family. Either they go to the Western Division or they travel across to Sub-Savo. He'll take, his whole family with him. And I always share about my son as well. I only have one son. And what he does in the year, he looks for a reason to do that, to justify that, he's taking his own family. It's either on the wife's birthday or their anniversary. Just last 2 weeks, they managed to do that. Every year, he does that. He takes his family on the side for one whole week, and they just go out and stay in the Western Division and just have that quality family time together. So you may not be able to afford some of the things that you say and desire or wish to spend your family with, but there are little things. You can just take them out for ice cream. I remember the days, I think that was before one of my daughters get married, my middle one. And we used to take our mats, our trampoline, and the kids with their bicycles and go to the Suva Picnic Park here in Suva. Tevu Naimbe, whatever food that we cook from home, pack in containers, and we sit there while they do their bicycling, and we just, sit and talk under the sky and eat, no cost, because you pack the same dinner from home that you cook. So there are economical ways or cheaper ways that you can create just so your family remember those moments. If we have the same dinner at home, they don't remember because it's just one of those nights that they have dinner. But when you take them out and they're cycling and they're playing, they remember that night. They'll always make reference to. Like yesterday, we were watching something. It's like a photograph. And my youngest granddaughter was watching the same thing. And she said, oh, I know this place. And I look at the photo. It was a photo of her brother on a different occasion. But he was, photographed at the children's park, out there at the seawall. And she said, oh, I know this place. And said, where is it? And said, this is the park. We always go and play in this park. And, they remember those things. And that's what my daughter-in-law does as well. She loves her children, post photos on our family comms, showing this, taking the time just to take her children and take them out to the park. Now it's school holidays. Yeah. Just sit there and, maybe for half an hour, maybe for 1 hour. Children have got a lot of energy. They're so hyperactive. So, and for them to do that. And when you come home and you meet them, oh, I went to the park today. Mommy took me to the park today. No reference made to the food that they eat. That does, that costs money. But just that moment of giving the freedom to run around, especially my small one, the youngest one. She can't keep still. She's too active, and she loves her space. And even to walk from our living room to, somewhere else that she's been sent to, she can walk. She runs. And yeah, she runs. She's so active. And, given the space of the playground, she will never forget the park, because park is her freedom. And even that night when we're having the dinner, I think she sat to the total of about 20 minutes, if I can calculate right. 20 minutes she sat like a little girl and listened. And I was looking at her, listening around, because it's new. Some people that she has seen for the very first time. So she's looking around. Well, straight after that, you hear her voice right towards the end, where the space is. And she was there, and then I meet her there again, closer to the gate to go home. That's how active, children can be. What were you wanting to say?
And because that night, when we arrive home, that she want to eat. No?
When she came back from the park.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it's a friendship.
Yeah.
Atmosphere, and she met a lot of her friends. So it's just the environment that we create. So when we set that dinner or the Christmas party for people to come in and their families, we are creating the atmosphere for people to enjoy, not only the employers, also the employees and their family and their children. And you see most of those children, they are very easy to get along with.
Yes.
Yeah. They don't just sit there and wait. No, they are very quick to make friends. And that's something that's very special about the children. Not like adults, we sit there and we have our barriers. And if we know them from earlier days, we are very difficult to make friends. But our young people, they are very quick, they are very easy, and they spend the night, like they can't leave one another because they enjoy their life.
And they have a great conversation moving. I remember on my table I had Siteri, Stanley's wife, and Petrie, Raj's wife. And I have Johnny Simpson, who is the youngest of the Simpson children. And, just sitting there, and he was having his story, just that relationship. Like when they come to the office, they wouldn't just walk into the office and start talking to you. But that moment, and I love this moment. And he was talking about his neighbor, talking about his friends, talking about his, the neighbor's dog, and the thing that they do. And I sat there, just striking that conversation with him. The moment, the atmosphere, that it's so difficult to match the age and the people and the category right down to that age group. And then Stanley came into the office yesterday, and he said, I saw Johnny, in a deep conversation with you. And Stanley, we were talking about nearly everything. We talk about the neighbors, his friends, what he does, the dog, the shepherd dog, and everything. And for me, it was a good moment. Like, you forget about all the important things that you always, crowded with in your mind. And just relax, that you can strike a conversation with anybody. That you can be just a normal person having a good time. And I really enjoy this moments just to see children sitting together as families. It's such a good feeling when you see the staff sitting with their children. And then also when you're looking from your angle, then you say, okay, these are the children, these are the family of this particular staff. And I really enjoyed that. And then we have some young boys that work in the company as well, just sitting there, because there are young people out there doing different things, but for them to be there. And we were really blessed. We had, like say, for the Simpson children, we have the eldest, Mitchell, who works for the Navy. He has a choice to go out and do other things because of his age, because of his exposure, and he can afford it. But just for him to come and sit there and listen in and being part of that family, it really matters, and it really means a lot. Just to see, like even for Tangase Rasea, their daughter is 25 years old, to have Naomi sit there and being part. Like when you're looking, you don't know who are the organizers, filling up the food stations, and who are the children, because everybody seems just to blend in and feel belong in that atmosphere.
Because the environment that was set, when you look at the boys and the girls, they could have been somewhere else because of their age and the thing that they love to do now. And seeing the boys enjoying because of the environment that was set by the company.
Yeah.
See? So it's very important for leaders of the family, leaders in the company or organization, leaders in the church, the environment that we set, yeah? The environment that we provide, like a platform
Yeah.
that everybody can come in and everybody equal. Like Johnny sitting there and the CEO, and they having a conversation.
Yeah.
No?
I really
Just-
enjoyed our conversation that night.
And
And,
imagine-
he loves his gifts. He kept on putting them out and placing them in.
and,
It was a good moment.
and because of that environment, that's why I believe some of the father that they were there, that they will remember, you know,
Yeah.
they will remember all the Christmas party or the end of the year party that we've been to,
Yeah.
and most of the time we thought that happiness brought about by the substance
Yeah.
or the thing that we take in,
Material things,
the material
yeah.
things. No, it's the environment.
Yes.
You set the environment, and the Creator will bring it the joy, the peace, and especially the fun. You know, the fun that we're supposed to have. Just normal.
Yeah.
You don't have to take stuff to enjoy.
Yeah, we're actually talking about this, this function. It's just to give thoughts to those of you that still planning your function, or to maybe you've had it already, but for next time around when it happens. I really love the atmosphere that night, and even for Nadani's children. I mean, very confident. You know, mine is a talker. My youngest granddaughter, she's a chatter. And everybody knows at home. Like when she starts talking at home, we're always looking at each other, and I'll always look at her and I said, do you know that you've only got three years of your life, which means you only have 3 years of knowledge? Because the way she speaks to us, it's like,
I know everything.
it's like she's lived her life. And sometimes she comes, and then I used to turn to my husband and said, boy, look at her. And her vocabulary. If she comes and she sees something that she doesn't like, and she's saying, oh, that's gross. And I was saying to myself, this is a 3-year-old. I don't, like the kind of vocabulary. And this is the exposure that they have because they watch a lot of YouTube. And they get their words and everything from there. Well, with that aside, and that night we were calling our children to come and, take their gifts from the company. So she was sitting right there with the older brother. And, she bossed the older brother around. So when her name was called out, she stood because she knows that's her name. And I was standing there and I said, come and take your gift. And, Stanley was giving out the gift, calling her. So she stood with all her big mouth and all her chatter. She stood, she looked around, she didn't move. This is what she does. So she turned to the brother. You go and get it. So the brother came forward and took the gift for her. Well, after that she sat. And then she vanished. Then you hear her voice on the other side. And on the other hand, I see Nadani's children. They're very quiet. They come in. They were sitting there. We have Isabella. We have Nadani Jr. and the baby. And the beautiful one. So they came. They came a little bit later, but they came in. They stood. As soon as the name was called out, he came running. He came a few times. When the baby's name was called out, he came. When his name was called out, he came. When the sister's name was called out, he came. And I was like, to me, it was a good, balance and contribution. Like everybody sitting out there. Then you have children who haven't met at all. They're so confident, very young as they are. Like I'm talking about a 4-year-old. I'm talking about like a 2 years old. Just to be confident to come in front of everybody, take their gift. And I have my mind, the chatter, and then when it's her turn to come, like she shied away, and then she took her photo on the other side. So for me, I love that blend. I just love that balance, the different, And then to top it off, we have this clip that one of our staff did, a colleague, because I remember that morning, I can hear Jackie from my office, chasing him out from my office, and I can hear him talking to Lou and them. And in my head, I was saying, what does this guy do? He comes in late. He does a lot of things. So, and then, we were busy. This week has been very busy. I wanted to say something. I said, okay, just leave it. Then when I saw that clip, and then I remembered that day, and I said, so this is what he was doing, going around to the people, asking them, what it is. But I like the angle that he does it because some of those boys out there, they wouldn't say those things when I'm sitting there. But they said it. They were in this kitchen. And they said this thing. I mean, they are themselves when it comes to that, Yeah. So I like that. I like the fact that you can be yourself without being like you have to put up a picture that you are not.
Yeah, because
but
sometimes
it's such.
the company and required work and the expectation for you to perform.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are not yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, because you try to meet
The deadline and meet the requirement.
or the standards.
Yeah.
And during those kind of moments, you are yourself, and that's why sometimes you are connected to that company. I remember just because the call of God in our life that we resigned, but we are so connected to Air Pacific because of the environment that they set and the
And they
freedom.
look after their
and they look
family.
after the family, especially the family day, and we look after the marching team of Air Pacific.
Oh yeah, for years.
For years.
We used to look after this marching team of all our children, the girls, and we did a lot of travel. We traveled to Seoul for all the hibiscus when they march, to all the festivals that we've been invited to the northern festivals, and nearly everywhere, to the Lotoka. And it's those moments, sometimes the budget is there to look after you, and sometimes the budget is not there, so which means you pay for your own accommodation. But these little girls look so pretty, and now they are mothers, and now they've grown. And those are the moments that you'll always remember, the moments of your life. So this is a moment for us to create those legacy and create those moments for our children. Just as now I remember, and our children always sit and we talk about those days. These are the little things when you create, they will all, not only talk about it now, they will remember when days to come, years to come, or even when they have their own families, they will retell the same story to their family. It's very important.
Imagine those young girls at that time doing the marching in front of the crowd. And the practices that they do back in Nande. And those put them to exposure and to a level that they are very confident when they go out. So when we do all what we are doing, we must remember we are passing on a legacy or a lifestyle or a value to the generation to come.
I believe
so if we going the wrong way, exactly that's what we are passing on to our young people. And if we put on family values, your human value, your value as a young man, your value as a young woman, and all those values become their life, their character, and that's what they will portray out there. And sitting there listening to the men, these beautiful, to come to a party like this, and we enjoy the laughter, the food, the relationship or the fellowship, it brings value, and you go home and enjoy. Everybody enjoy. Because one of them said, I've been working in a company. When it comes to Christmas party, it's only the employee, not the families. No?
I guess it can be budget as well, because some companies, they just don't have the budget to take in the whole family. And depending on the size of the staff, the manpower, and have their families again. So some, it can be financial constraint for them not being able to do so. But there's always another way of doing it, like you involve them and they pay for it, they put in money for that. But I've just been so blessed to have the people that we work with to be able, to roll out and even as such, and end our year with. So really, really blessed with Tiare Wangavakatonga, who actually brought in all her little things from her rooms that has helped us to wrap up all those 47, plus children that managed to go home with a smile on their face, to have the parents sit there without spending any money and to see the joy in their children. That value or the volume it gives, you cannot put a figure or a money, a dollar value.
You cannot put a money value.
On those kind of moments. Those are just the moments that you'll always remember. And really, really blessed. We were really blessed with our hosts that kept us standing the night and enjoying the night and alive in the night and connected in the whole night for Jackie and Frida, and not forgetting Koliadi, who was also part of the host from the beginning, but he took longer. First he was coming in the bus, then we have to...
he was waiting for the taxi.
We have to tell him to get off the bus and catch a taxi, but he arrived. And it was a great night, and thank Rosie Chandra for being part of the organizing until it really happened. So there's a lot of people to thank. And I also would like to make a mention and thank you, Auntie Lani Vimbete, thank you. I know it's a last minute order on the cakes that was given to the staff. And looking at the value that I had asked for and looking at the packages that you have done was far beyond the value that I had mentioned to pay. I organized that because I didn't really want to spend as much money, but a little token to tell the staff thank you. And also with the vouchers just to compliment the year. But you went out of your way. You even did the ribbons. That was just so beautiful. And I know the costs that you have spent, and not only that, the time that you have given to bring about all those 20 plus, nearly 30 beautiful cakes cost more than the money that we actually ordered and paid you for. So thank you for making our night, because that cake becomes a moment for families when they take it back home. Yeah, so we've just taken about, 30 minutes talking about our function.
While you're still on that, because I've been receiving calls from ministers and also the Brasileiros of all the church of what my TV is giving out, they said, man, we feel ashamed that this company remember us like a stakeholder. I mean, coming from ministers of our nation, or from Brasileiros and from other Taltalagase, and it's very humbling. And that's the spirit.
Yeah, that has been ongoing since we started the company. And not only when we started the company, like in my TV, we did it for the church in all those years. We've been in existence for 21 years. Like with that heart of thanksgiving, one thing that I'm convicted with, sometimes it becomes a conversation. So when I'm working on the list and you have somebody popping in, my children will say, why are we giving these things to them? Why are we giving this? Why are we giving these tokens to these certain companies? And then I'm looking and I said, yeah, why? And then they will say, did we, just pay the bills to them? Like we pay them bills throughout the year? They didn't give us anything of value, but we are paying them? And I said, yes. And so I'm trying to understand, then why are we giving them tokens? Because we have been paying them money. And I said, yeah, maybe you've got a point. I think you've got a point, but maybe we can differentiate them. People, like for some companies, we have the Energy Fiji Limited, we have the Water Authority. You become one of the many millions or thousands that pays bill. So maybe for those ones there, so, like we have that conversation, maybe for those ones there, then it becomes an option if you run out of tokens. But other than that, for me, if I'm giving a pack to FBC from the church, I'm indirectly trying to tell them, thank you for, serving us for the whole year. Even though we pay for our airtime, it's a moment for us to say thank you for the service provided. And those are the things that I do for the church because I administer the church. And since it was in existence, I think nearly about 15 years of those 21 years, it has been a practice and custom for the ministry to do that. We started off with very humble packs. We started off with homemade cakes. We start off like with little things. Like from me, from my end, as long as you give something little to tell them, man, thank you. Just so grateful for your business. Whichever way, whether I pay you or you pay us.
What heart do you have? Because I've been watching that. I don't do that. And for years...
Because you're not a giver. It's not a giver.
For years...
It's a mamamgi.
For years you've been giving that,
Yeah.
And visiting ministers, visiting the stakeholders, visiting the church leaders, we spend the fuel, the people, the money.
Yeah, I just want to talk about how it's done. So apart from the church one that we used to do, when we came into my TV, which was way back in 2016, and we started that with the company. So in every year now with my TV, you have the list for the church, and you have the list for the my TV. And in total, as we do the list, it's 61 stakeholders, like 61 companies, as we work with on different relationship, from the church and from my TV. And not only that, then we have Talangase Osea that looks after our business house. This is from the church, the business house itself. The list is about 47. And the business house, we have Western Division, we have Northern Division, and we have the Central Eastern Division. That's one list. And then we have SPMOC in the Vetenivalo, who looks after the My TV programs with other churches. So they will come in on their paid airtime, or they come in and host some of the existing airtime that we've already had. And so he have his own list. And his list is always the high-end list, because we have these miracles to happen that involves the leaders or the head of the Vanua and the ministers, the parliamentarians. So, you know, it's like a high-level, high-end list, this Dangasemosi. And his is about a total of 37. So you have the 61, you have the 37, and you have the 40 plus. Well, that said, why I'm sharing this? Because we don't have the money. No, we don't have the money. On the other hand, we are struggling here, you know. We don't have the kind of finances. But I don't want us to, you know, to think or to have that, or to give us that message. We don't have anything to give you. It's not what you give, it's the thought. It's just a thought. And I must thank Frida. She does our cards, beautiful cards. And, but we managed to, you know, I managed to negotiate on this beautiful tokens. Like it's nice, it's classy, professional, but low cost. Because you're giving them number of this huge amount. And it's just amazing. So for this year, and last year and this year, what I tried to do, I'll see, I mean, I'm trying to explain, because you may be receiving it and said, why, they have a lot of money. No, we don't. We don't have a lot of money. We don't have the money. One thing that I want to share with us too, like when you have that heart of gratitude, when you have, yeah, you are so grateful. I believe, for me, I teach my children, I teach my grandchildren, I teach the church that I belong to, the importance of being grateful, just being grateful.
You know, the reason I ask, because I hear you pray. You asking for finance here, no, the bills here. And I see on the other hand, you are giving free here. And not only that, the piling of work is already here. The youth symposium is coming. And the My TV is here. And yet, you have about 6 transport and people to distribute, no? And I just sit there and just, you know.
Yeah, I believe, I'm blessed with my daughter Tiare. She helps me and the people that work with me, because like when you say out what you want done, you need somebody that has the same ability to be able to grasp
run it
and run it. Like what you said, you know, it's well said, because this week hasn't been a very a good week for us, because it's just too busy. It's like a company coming to enclosure, end of the business for the year on Friday, and not only that, it's not like closure. It's like closure. You close your bills. You pay up your bills.
The bills continue.
And then the bills doesn't close. The bills keep on coming. And then you have to think of the whole December that you're not going to be here. Even though the office is going to be closed, but you need to pay for the rent for this office to be in existence. You need to pay the water bills and the electricity bills. So the bills doesn't rest. It continues. So you have to think of the bills for the whole month, and also the payroll. Usually because we give that time for our people to go on a break. And I believe it's hardly done. I mean, they don't do it in the Pacific where I work then. This is the time you can't go. You can't go this time. You have to stay. Everybody work. And but for the company that I'm working for, My TV, we try as much to give this time to our people, because I always believe, like even if they come to work, their full dedication and commitment is not there, because it's festive anyway. Like the quality of work that they give, it's not going to be what you want, and you're not supervising them to do their work. I mean, you cannot change that, because the atmosphere is such. If you look at the productivity over the years, when you come to December, it's a bit down. It drops. And with that said, and I must thank Stanley to agreeing with that thinking. Since I came on board, or since we came on board in 2016, we started that every year. We give our staff a break. After school break, everybody round up. And if you still have your work that are still pending, then you find your time to come, or if you can do it remotely, fine. If not, then, you know, walk into the office and do your job. And so what we try as much to do, we give them. It's like they're going on a leave. We try and give them their leave pay.
So you deduct this break from their leave?
No. They have their own leave entitlement, and then they have this season break. Yeah, this is like in addition to
Like-
the to their leave. I know it's like I don't know, like in most companies. I mean, I worked in that airline for so
Like
many years.
we work and we know if you take a break,
Yeah, that's it. And then-
it's either leave without pay,
Yeah.
or you take it from your leave that is pending.
Yes, and also like if you come towards the end of the year and you finish up your leave, if you have to take your leave, then it's leave without pay.
Yes.
And yeah, so we give we give them time to have a break. For me, like I want them to spend quality time with their family. Things that they may not be able to do throughout the year. This is the moment that they can do that. So we try according to our bag. If we are able, we give them advance pay for the break that they take, and then they get the pay when they come back. For this year around, a bit challenging for us. We have another formula that we pay them out. And also we have a staff club that they do their saving. And I'll always market our staff club. And for those of you that were not able to save throughout the year, I was speaking to one of the hosts yesterday. And I said, try this staff club. I see that you haven't joined. Try and join. Because come towards the end of the year, the money that you never budget that you have, like it can be, some of them, the highest have saved about 5,000, 6,000. Even, yeah. Like the money that you don't feel being deducted from your pay weekly or fortnightly, but you receive that sum come towards the end of the year. I give that opportunity to those who do not go to church. Into our church, they can take their whole money. But for those that goes to the church where I belong, I tell them, don't take your money. Take your need, keep saving. Because
Don't take your
Fijian, oh man, you just want to take the whole thing. Like a Father Christmas and spend it all. And you come back, kachilinga back. I don't like the kachilinga moments. I want you to be good knowing, okay, I am good. My money is good. My pay is good. And as and when we were giving out their pay to this particular, he is a host. So he gets paid according to the program that he does in the week. So it's like $300 a week. So now since we're closing for business, we have to pay him the weeks that the business are closed and then pay him back when the business come back, which is in January. So giving him, like that payment, and I reminded him, look after it. Remember the money that you're taking with you. Oh. Think of your family, space it out, manage it well. Remember, not every week you'll be coming back here. You're taking it with you. So those are the little things that we remind, and goes back to what you have asked, about the tokens. For me, there's I'll find a way. I'll find a way of making it happen. I'll find a way. And that is why I was thanking Lani today, because those are the tokens that I usually do to the staff. But because the finances and everything are going this way, I ask her to do something that is very economical, that is affordable, but to still receive it and looks more expensive than the order. I am so grateful for that. And then, just to answer your question, because it may sound so big, the 61, the 47, 37, it may sound so big. So what we do, like I sit with my daughter, so what we do, we look at the 61, 37 stakeholders for the ministry, and 27 stakeholders for my TV. So we look at the whole list. If one company, one stakeholder appears in all the list, if one person or if it's a host, appear in different shows, or a business house, say for LTA. LTA pays advertising time for us, for my TV. LTA passes our vehicles for the normal relationship with the ministry. And also LTA this is an example, is business house when it comes to every Wednesday. Yeah. So they appear in 3 lists, but we only give them 1. Okay. So that 1 have all the cards. So it can be 1 token with 2 cards, 1 token with 1 card. So the company that only releases with my TV, then it doesn't have any of the ministry one. The company that has the ministry and my TV, so I will have 1 token but 2 cards, because this company we both have relationship with. So it may sound big. We did cover a fair bit number of companies, but it's the thinking behind that you are, you're tagging on the same thing. Yes. It looks big. You are, like from this angle, I've said thank you because the card is there and the token is there. And from the other angle, business house, we've said thank you because the card is there, the token is there. So it's the same thing, but from all different directions, we are saying thank you. And for the ministers that take part, that's through Talaga Semosi. on the on the MyTV host program. And then as we see, like for the ministers, then we up a bit on the tokens. So standard tokens that goes out, then you have this level of tokens to say, because we are, I mean, the parliamentarians, whether they are the leaders of the opposition party, or they have work on them, for them to spare the time to be part of this program, to call in, or to be, to be part of this delivery, to serve our people, or serve the communities of Fiji. There was time invested. There was an effort on their part. Yeah. So it's a moment to say, thank you for those efforts. Even though it didn't just benefit the station, it benefits the people. It benefits our viewers. Yeah, and we managed to finish also. By looking at all these numbers, we didn't do it in one day. We ordered it according to the, the most practical way to do it. Then we organized the cars. We highlighted the drivers from the divisions. And we get in the people, get in the MyTV uniforms. And then we were so blessed to have some on work attachments with us. Yes. We have Salonte, we have Tommy, we have Thomas Silovo, and Othaniel Wangainabete. They were on a work attachment for one of the year 11 requirements. So all these hands was very beneficial. And then we were somewhere, then I saw this beautiful, neat handwriting. I think it was a meeting last Saturday. And I saw this beautiful handwriting, and I asked, whose handwriting is this? They were writing out the name tags for the children. And that particular young girl was sitting there, Annie. And I said, I love your handwriting. It's so neat and so beautiful. So the time coming, we were writing out these cards, these 100 cards. Then I remember that handwriting. So I called her in. And thank you, Annie Malo, for your beautiful handwriting. So she sat there and wrote the cards. And thank you, Jane Barnove. Such very beautiful people that we have, very helpful hands. And I might just thank the team. On the outset, it's, they're saying thank you to you. Yeah. And you are he didn't do anything, but he's receiving all the thank yous while the team are sweating here. That I would like to make a mention today. And thank you, Luisa. Thank you, Tomasi, Koreitamana. And thank you to all our drivers who went out of your way. Thank you, Joshua. Awangainambete being one of the driver in using your car. And to all the team that have come out. Rasuaki, Mati, the handsome guy from Ra. Thank you for going out of your way to deliver our goods. Yeah, we had, like everybody who put in together to make that happen. And it was a good feeling. Now, come towards the end, like last night was the best night ever for me. And I turned to my daughter and said, man, this is the night that I was looking for. This is the night that I was aspiring for. Just to sit there, business closed, bills paid, everything, worked out and scheduled. Ministry, round up, and family, like that good feeling of just sitting there with everything, like all the lists ticked. And the only thing pending is my family, which I am taking them out for a break. And I'm so looking forward to it that I can be there not checking my Viber on the checks to be signed or bills to be paid, but to be free to be a nana and to be free to be a mother and to be a mother-in-law to my beautiful family. I'm looking forward to that Monday because straight after this, boy, we have another meeting. And it's for the Youth Symposium come December. So another meeting today, church service on Sunday at the carrier stand. And I say sayonara, bye, and I will see you again from New Zealand on the next weekend.
So we take this time to just to thank you. Thank you very much, Randini, for the things that maybe look big, but it takes somebody behind the scene to do all that. Yeah. Because it's, I was telling Colin, man, you are so blessed. In one day, you sit and take photos with 3 gasalevos.
Yeah,
and
true.
You are really blessed. Just taking the token to talaga sa Tamarada, Pinawalewu, talaga sa the cow, Pinawalewu, talaga sa Kurlo from CMFI, Pinawalewu na wasan ni Pabli Minaka kinabi bakalong gangataki. Doon ang token ni Lizar, ko watarong ang kina. No, the big things, already busy, and praying for things to happen. And on the other side, it must be God. Eh?
Yeah, have faith. One step at a time. It will happen. Have faith.
Until we meet again, we will be speaking from New Zealand next week, if God's willing. And we thank the Lord for this morning, for everyone. You have a blessed weekend and a blessed holiday to you all. And may you have a prosperous 2024.
Join us tomorrow if you have nothing going. Our broadcaster actually airing
Yeah.
their church services. So I know, like now it's the last thing that you want to go to church. It's festive season. But if you're at home, please tune in. From 5 o'clock in the morning, we have programs running on the daily campus. We have Reverend Elias Correa and the beautiful lady, Auntie Lela, to talking to our children. And the day is filled up with a lot of
Programs,
cocktail
yeah.
messages, even Christmas messages that are pouring in. So take the time to tune in on Sunday if you are not going to church, because you can tune in from anywhere you are. And if you're living around the Suva area, our last our last service at the carrier stand for the year. We'll be at the carrier stand on Sunday afternoon.
3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock, please join us. There'll be a lot of exciting items by our young people building up towards the Youth Symposium come 29th of December. And also powerful testimonials from our youths on life-changing moments of their lives. So join us if you have nothing to do. If you can't physically attend, then tune in from your phone or from anywhere that you may be. Once again, thank you, and Vinaka Bakalevu.